We got Pannie Kianzad back here on the program. Of course, she is on season 27 of The Ultimate Fighter this season. Pannie, how are you?
Hey, I'm good. I'm good. How are you? Thank you.
I'm doing great. It's good to talk to you again. And man, a lot has happened since the last time you and I spoke. Of course, the last time we talked was before your fight in Invicta FC 29. So you win that fight, and then you take another fight like a month later, and now you're on The Ultimate Fighter. Have you processed how quickly these last couple months have gone for you?
No, I haven't really. I just like go with the flow. I haven't really done anything. I just like, I mean, I plan to do a lot of fights this year, and I just didn't know it would end up like this. I thought I was gonna try out, for the Ultimate Fighter. But then, I got like a call, and hey, do you want to come to the tryouts? And I'm like, yeah, why not? I have nothing to do. So, and then it ended up being like a great experience.
Okay, that's interesting. So what were you doing in the States? Because obviously you live back in Sweden, but was it just that you happened to be there and the tryouts were going on?
No, not really. I was like, so I was planning to, I was not planning to go to the States, but I thought, okay, I'm going to finish up off a camp. And I just worked with one of the coaches there from Vegas for my Invicta fight. And then I thought, you know what, I'm just going to go there for my last week and do the tryout and finish off my camp. It can't be that bad. So I'm just going to give it a shot.
Well, were you feeling pretty confident going to the tryouts? Just because usually when you think of the Ultimate Fighter, you think of up-and-coming prospects, but you have a lot of experience. Even though you don't have a lot of fights, you fought, Sarah Kaufman, and you've had a lot of big fights. Did you kind of have the confidence riding high heading into the tryouts?
I was pretty sure they were going to pick me, but I mean, yeah, the competition was it was a lot of girls, and I knew that just because I had those fights and they knew me from before, I think I had it like, I was thinking I'm pretty good, but I wasn't really big coming into the tryout. I was like weighing 140 pounds because I was fighting 135 that like a few weeks after. That was the only thing that worried me, that they thought I was too small, but I tried to tell them that, don't worry, I won't be this small forever. And then I ended up being one of the girls that had the most fights. I mean, I had 13 pro fights under my belt, so I was being one of the veterans, and I'm only 26, so that was pretty cool. And then I saw a lot of girls that came in with like even more experience than me, but didn't get picked. And it was a lot of fuss about like who got picked or not after, like during the
Yeah,
tryout,
no, I saw
after
that.
the
Yeah.
tryout, and during the time we were in the house, it was a lot of talk going on about why didn't I get picked? You're not a real 145er and stuff like that. But then if you see that every other previous show, everybody goes up a weight class. I mean, the whole undefeated is 135ers. I mean, the 125 girls, a lot of them moved down to 115. I mean, I just don't get it why people starting to get annoyed now and not like, I mean, fucking, I don't know who was on the show, like the guys, everybody felt like in heavyweight and they're really like welterweights. I don't know.
Well, I think playing devil's advocate, I think part of the reason is they feel like the winner of this show will fight Chris Cyborg at some point, and they feel like if it's a smaller, if it's a smaller weight class, or people that aren't regular 45ers, that we won't get to see that. I mean, I can understand your side though, because it's like you're not going to cut that much weight every week for a tournament like the Ultimate Fighter, right?
Yeah, I'm not gonna go through like going through a 20-pound cut every week. I'm like, if they want to do it, you do it. I don't want to do it.
Right. Yeah.
And I was really happy that I came in. Like I weighed through the whole process. I weighed like 150, between 150 and 155. And I mean, I wouldn't change one thing. Like I could eat, and I mean, especially the way we train, it was like I could never go through like a huge cut like that.
Yeah, well, it's good, obviously. And then, so you find out you're on the show. Like, how soon after the tryouts did you actually find out you made it?
maybe a week.
Okay.
No, a week before they were gonna like, I knew that we needed to fly. So just a few days, like I kind of had the feeling that I was leaving, so I was planning to go, but I really didn't get the call until like 5-6 days before.
Okay, interesting. Now, did you talk to any other fighters at this point, like who had gone through the process before?
Yeah, I did. I mean, I was living with Roxy Modafferi, like
Oh, of
for the
course. Yeah.
tryouts. And I mean, she is the perfect person to talk to. Like, she's been on 2 shows, and she's like, you know, I mean, it's cool and everything, but doing it again, that was hard for her. But she told me, like, she explained some stuff, and that stuff I could help, like, use for, you know, if I make it. And I mean, then we talked, a lot of girls that were and tried together, we talked before, and like, oh, how's it going? Has anybody talked to you and stuff like that? But I was getting ready. I mean, the phone thing wasn't a problem for me. Like, not having a phone, that was not a problem. The problem is that for me in the house was that I'm such an emotional fighter. Like, I mean, Oprah makes me cry, like, for real.
Okay.
So that was the hardest part of, like, finding a little space to, like, go and, like, cry out, eyes out without the camera being there. So that was the problem for me, because, like, if I get, like, really emotional in training, I can just start, you know, I can be sad and everything, and I was like, fuck, I don't want to come off as a crybaby on the show because I'm, like, so emotional. So my hardest thing was that keeping my emotions on track and not be able to, like, focus and not show, like, weakness, like, to the other girls.
Right. Okay, that makes sense. And how was it seeing yourself on that first episode? I know it wasn't a lot of camera time, but I mean, it's different than seeing you fight than see you, you know, outside the cage. How was that for you?
Like, I'm pretty excited to see how I like in other episodes, how I come off, like, when it comes to my accent, because I know a lot of the guys and the girls, we talked about, like, language barriers. That was a huge problem. Like, not a huge problem, but you can definitely see that we had language barriers, because we were, like, half of us were international, and it was pretty cool to see that. I actually didn't think that I had that much language barrier. So I was like, I watched the episode and I'm like, okay, no, it's not that bad, because I don't want to come off like, I don't know, sounding weird or something. It was pretty strange seeing yourself on TV. It was, to be honest. Yeah.
And you know, there's obviously a lot we can't talk about. We can talk about what happened, you know, in the first episode because that's already aired. So you're on Team Gastleum. What's your initial reaction? Did you want to be on his team?
Yeah, definitely. I really wanted to. I didn't think I was, because I personally didn't think my first training before getting picked was good. But nobody thought they were good, you know, because we were stressed, we were nervous. But I mean, when I was their second pick, so I was really excited about it. I was, like, shocked, but I was like, fuck yeah, okay, I did something good.
Were you a bit upset though? They kind of just briefly said, like, you know, after they did the first picks, they kind of just zoomed through the rest of them as far as the edits go. Like, were you upset they didn't show your, like, long walk out there?
Yeah, you could see my face. Like, I was, like, standing there, like, you know, when you're waiting and, you know, it's so hot in there. It's so hot. And I was like, fucking, I was pouring sweat. Like, I was sweating because I was so nervous. I was like, am I gonna get picked last? Dude, and I was thinking in my head, like my mind was, like, running, is like, I'm the best fucking fighter here. Why am I getting, you know? And I'm like, I have so much experience. Like, my head is, like, just, I started to talk to myself, you know? And then, like, in the middle of everything, when I started bashing myself and I'm like, and then I'm, like, calling my name, I'm like, okay. So I could, like, exhale. That was pretty cool.
Good stuff. Well, we're certainly looking forward to the season. Before I let you go, I got to ask, what's happening with your dog? Is someone taking care of him? What's the latest?
Oh yeah, my boyfriend is taking care of him when I was away. Yeah, he's good. He's good.
So
it's so funny. Everybody's asking about Biggie.
Well, I was gonna say you guys are inseparable, so it just seems like, you know.
We are.
Yeah, was that tough though? I mean, the phone's one thing, but missing your better half, you know.
Not having Biggie, it was like, Like, I came home and he was 2 pounds heavier, and imagine 2 pounds for a little pug. Yeah. So, like, I've been talking about how fit he is on the show, and like when I came home, he was fat as fuck.
Well, there you go. Well, Pannie, I want to thank you so much for taking the time. This is going to be a great season and historic as well, because obviously this is the last show they're doing in the old gym. So I'm excited to see what's to come. But I appreciate the time. Just to remind people where they can find you on social media, and if you have any other thank yous, the floor is yours.
So don't forget to see the second episode now on Wednesday on FS1. And you can find me on Twitter under Pannie Kianzad and under Instagram, Pannie Kianzad. So it's really easy to find me.